Hello, Davison. Superintendent Kevin Brown here with another edition of Brown's Blog. On Friday, late Friday afternoon, early evening, Governor Whitmer signed into effect 3 executive orders, Executive Order 183, 184, and 185. And I want to talk a little bit today about 2 of those executive orders because they're going to create some changes here in the district. The first executive order I want to talk about is Executive Order 183. 183 actually loosened the requirements or loosened up the restrictions for meeting or gatherings both indoors and outdoors. And we are now, at least we will be able to, starting on October 9th, we're going to be able to have up to 1,000 people in attendance at a football game. So October 9th is our last home football game. It was our scheduled homecoming football game, and because of the restrictions that have been in place, because we are only in phase 4 of the Michigan Safe Start Plan, we basically have had to cancel all of our homecoming festivities. We were not planning on any of the powder puff game, the parade. We had to limit attendance at the football game. All of those things were in place. However, now with Executive Order 183, it gives us a little bit of freedom to do some of those things, not all of them, but some of those things that would normally be affiliated or associated with the homecoming football game. So what we are looking at, and because this just happened on Friday, late Friday afternoon, we are now looking at reinstating and having a homecoming parade. The Executive Order 183, which loosens the restrictions on the number of people that can attend an outdoor event and allows us to have 1,000 people in the stadium, doesn't go into effect until October 9th. So anything prior to October 9th, we still can't do. We can't have a powder puff game because, quite honestly, that would have to happen prior to the homecoming football game. And the reality is, I don't know even if we could, if we'd want to, because the kids haven't, there are no teams in place, they haven't had a chance to practice, and then we sure wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. So what we are planning to do is organize a very short, greatly reduced homecoming parade. Just last night, the Davison City Council voted to allow us to get a permit to close down the streets to have a short parade. We told the city that it wouldn't be the normal full-blown homecoming parade that we're all used to. We really want to just focus on our kids, and we want to give our kids the opportunity to do some of these things that they otherwise, haven't been able to do. So, we're looking at having our marching band participate in both the parade and performing at halftime of the football game. We're looking at our POMs and dance team being able to walk in the parade and perform at the football game as well. And then we're also going to invite our cheer team, of course, to walk in the parade, and they have been permitted to perform as a MHSAA sanctioned sport at previous games as well. Then we're going to have our prince and princess from our underclassmen, freshman, sophomore, and junior prince and princess. They'll be allowed to ride in cars in the parade like we have in the past, and then of course our senior court as well. We'll do the crowning of the queen and all of those things that we would normally do at the homecoming football game. So we're very excited that we're able to provide this opportunity, although limited for our kids, especially our seniors, who this is their last chance to really attend and participate in a football game or in a homecoming event. So that also brings us then to fans in the stands, because if we can have up to 1,000 people, we know that we're going to have the parents of the football players. We know we're going to have parents probably from Saginaw Heritage from their football team. We know we have cheer and cheer parents. We know we're going to have the marching band performing, and so we're going to allow their parents to attend as well. POM, dance, same thing. So whatever tickets are remaining to get us to that 1,000 mark after all of these folks have been counted, we're going to make available to our students. The mission of our district is kids first, And I feel that before we open up ticket sales for the community, we have to take care of our kids. And I actually got an email yesterday from a senior student asking if the seniors would be allowed to attend the football game, because it might be the last football game that they ever have the opportunity to attend and participate in. So we're going to do that. Principal Jacobs is working with Athletic Director Dave Beamer, and they're going to come up with a plan for how this is going to work and rolling it all out. So very exciting and very good news there. Changing gears now, one of the other executive orders that was issued was Executive Order 185. And Executive Order 185 basically requires all students, including our kindergarten through 4th grade students, to wear a mask in their classroom during school. This is new. It's not something we have required previously. The Michigan Safe Start roadmap that we use to design our plan for returning to school safely required that in grades 6 through 12, but only recommended it in grades K through 5. So now, with the governor's new executive order, we have to require all kids K through 12 to wear a facial covering when they're in school, when they're in their classroom. We know this isn't popular. I've already heard from a number of people who are not happy with this new executive order, but we have to follow it. I mean, we are a government-run school. We are funded through state aid, which comes from our state government, and we simply cannot choose to ignore or disregard an executive order from the governor. So we are going to try to make it as good for the kids as we can. We'll take them outside as often as possible. We'll incorporate mask breaks. Our principals will work with our teachers on doing that. But that's something you need to be aware of. That goes into effect on October 5th. So this coming Monday, all of our K-4 students are also going to have to be wearing masks in their classrooms. And then the last thing that I wanted to share today, and end on another positive note, is that just last night, the county health department updated their toolkit for schools to use to keep kids safe. And up until now, we have been required to do contact tracing for students who are close contacts of symptomatic students. That is, students who are within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes of a student that was exhibiting symptoms that could have been associated with COVID-19. And for those of you who have had students that have been quarantined because of their close contact to a symptomatic individual, you know it's challenging because your student may not be sick, they may not be showing any symptoms themselves, but because someone else that they were close to at school had symptoms, didn't even have to be COVID symptoms, but they could be COVID symptoms, they had to be quarantined for 14 days or until that symptomatic student either got a negative COVID test or an alternate diagnosis from a physician. Now the health department has said that we no longer have to do that. We no longer have to quarantine close contacts for symptomatic individuals. So we still have to quarantine anybody with a positive COVID test or who is a close contact to somebody with a positive COVID test. And we still have to quarantine students who are symptomatic, students who are exhibiting symptoms that could be associated with COVID-19 until they get an alternate diagnosis or a negative COVID-19 test. But we no longer have to quarantine students who are close contacts of symptomatic individuals. So that's huge. We spent an exorbitant amount of time doing the contact tracing and quarantining those individuals and contacting their parents and things like that, which we're no longer going to have to do. So that's good news. It's great that we're going to be able to do some things for homecoming, even if it's going to be on a much more limited scale. So a couple pieces of good information, and then you know, the piece about the masks for K-5 students as well. So that's the update for today. Have a great day and go Cards.